The following is a Hennessy Hendo production. It includes excerpts and material from my vast collection of books and general knowledge. My collection spans many centuries and millennia. I upload as I have time, but the sheer volume is just so immense. It would do the people of the world good to listen to some actual classics or educate themselves on all manner of topics from fictional books to philosophy. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.
The Pentagon Papers were a watershed moment in U.S. history, exposing the inner workings of government decision-making regarding the Vietnam War. The analysis of these documents involves understanding their origins, contents, implications, and their broader impact on U.S. governance, the media, and public opinion. 1. Origins of the Pentagon Papers. Commissioning. The Pentagon Papers were commissioned in 1967 by then Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara. The intention was to create a comprehensive internal history of U.S. involvement in Vietnam, starting from the post-World War II period. McNamara sought to understand how the U.S. had become so deeply entangled in Vietnam, though he likely did not intend for the study to be made public. Team and scope. The study involved a team of analysts, historians, and military experts, including figures like Daniel Ellsberg, who later became instrumental in the paper's release. The final report consisted of 47 volumes and 7,000 pages of memos, documents, and analysis, providing a detailed account of policymaking from 1945 to 1967. 2. Contents of the Pentagon Papers. The Pentagon Papers revealed a series of troubling insights about U.S. policy in Vietnam, including origins of U.S. involvement. The U.S. initially supported French efforts to re-establish colonial control over Vietnam after World War II, despite Vietnamese nationalist movements seeking independence. By the 1950s, the U.S. began providing direct military and economic support to South Vietnam as part of its broader Cold War strategy to contain communism. Misrepresentation of goals. Successive administrations overstated the strategic importance of Vietnam and presented the conflict as a critical front in the global fight against communism. In reality, internal documents suggested that policymakers doubted Vietnam's strategic value, but escalated involvement to avoid domestic political fallout or appearing weak. Escalation of the war. The papers detailed secret actions, including bombing campaigns in Laos and Cambodia, and covert operations that were never disclosed to Congress or the public. The administration of President Lyndon B. Johnson, for instance, was shown to have committed to a significant military buildup while misleading the public with assurances of limited engagement. Disregard for public opinion. Policymakers were aware of the unlikelihood of a U.S. victory, but continued the war to maintain credibility on the world stage and to avoid admitting failure. 3. The release and legal battle. Daniel Ellsberg's role. Ellsberg, originally a supporter of U.S. policy in Vietnam, became disillusioned after working on the Pentagon Papers. He copied and leaked the documents to the New York Times and later other outlets, including the Washington Post. Government reaction. The Nixon administration sought to block publication, citing national security risks. It argued that the release of classified information could harm ongoing diplomatic and military efforts. This led to the landmark Supreme Court case, New York Times v. United States. The court ruled 6-3 against the Nixon administration, affirming the press's right to publish the papers under the First Amendment. 4. Implications of the Pentagon Papers. A. Impact on public trust. Erosion of credibility. The Pentagon Papers exposed the credibility gap, a term describing the growing disconnect between what the government told the public and the reality of its actions. This revelation deepened public skepticism about U.S. institutions, fueling anti-war sentiment. The publication strengthened the anti-war movement, as it became clear that government leaders had continued the war despite knowing its likely futility. B. Strengthening the role of the media. Empowerment of investigative journalism. The legal victory for the New York Times and other outlets underscored the importance of a free press in holding the government accountable. The case set a precedent against prior restraint, government censorship before publication. Challenging secrecy. The Pentagon Papers raised questions about the extent to which the government should be allowed to withhold information from the public under the guise of national security. C. Legal and political consequences. Strengthening whistleblower protections. While Ellsberg faced charges under the Espionage Act, public support for his actions eventually led to the charges being dropped. His case became a rallying point for future whistleblowers. Impact on Nixon. The Nixon administration's efforts to discredit Ellsberg, including illegal break-ins to retrieve damaging information, were exposed during the Watergate scandal, further eroding trust in the presidency. D. Broader implications for U.S. foreign policy. Reassessment of military engagements. The Pentagon Papers prompted greater scrutiny of U.S. foreign interventions, with critics calling for more transparency and accountability in military decision-making. Legacy of Vietnam. The revelations about the Vietnam War's mismanagement left a lasting legacy of caution regarding U.S. involvement in prolonged foreign conflicts. 5. Long-term legacy. The Pentagon Papers remain a powerful symbol of the importance of transparency and the role of whistleblowers in exposing government wrongdoing. They have inspired discussions about government secrecy, how much information the public has a right to know in matters of national security. Ethics in government, the moral obligations of leaders to be truthful and to act in the best interests of their citizens. The role of the media, the press's responsibility to challenge authority and inform the public, even in the face of government resistance. Conclusion. The Pentagon Papers were not just a critique of U.S. involvement in Vietnam, but a broader indictment of government secrecy and deception. Their release marked a turning point in the relationship between the U.S. government, the media, and the public, reinforcing the ideals of accountability and transparency in a democratic society. Thank you for watching. Please share the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Check out other series including 10-minute synopses or complete audiobooks on Hennessy Hendo on YouTube. Improve your vocabulary. Be more fun at parties. Increase your knowledge. Become a literary master like Hendo.